Andre the Giant, known as the eighth wonder of the world, left a shadow cast far and wide. At 7 feet 4 inches and 520 pounds, he was a giant in every sense. But now, whispers of his daughter, Robin, being even more imposing than her father sparked curiosity. What's fact and what's myth? The details will surprise you. Early life. Andrei René Roussimoff was born on May 19, 1946, in France, to parents Boris and Marianne, who were immigrants. Raised in a Catholic family, Andrei had 2 older brothers and 2 younger siblings. At birth, he weighed a surprising 13 pounds. As Andrei grew, it became clear he was different. He was significantly taller than other kids and had very large hands due to a condition called gigantism. By the age of 12, Andrei had already reached an impressive 6 feet 3 inches. Although Andrei was an average student, he excelled in math. By 14, he decided school wasn't for him and left to start working. He began by helping out on his family's farm, where his incredible strength was evident. His family often said he could do the work of 3 men on his own. Andrei also picked up woodworking skills and later worked in a factory making farm equipment parts. However, these jobs didn't bring him happiness. Growing up in the 1950s, Andrei had an interesting connection with the famous Irish writer Samuel Beckett, who lived nearby. Occasionally, Beckett would drive Andrei and his siblings to school. Despite their different backgrounds, the two found common ground in their love of cricket. They didn't talk much, but when they did, cricket was their favorite topic. From Paris to wrestling legend. At 18, Andrei moved to Paris in search of new opportunities. There, a wrestling promoter named Robert took notice of Andrei's impressive size and saw potential for him in wrestling. Robert began training Andrei, teaching him the basics of the sport. By day, Andrei worked as a mover to make ends meet, and by night, he honed his wrestling skills. People soon started calling him Géant Ferré, inspired by a well-known French folk hero. This was eventually shortened to Jean Ferré. In 1966, Andrei met Frank Valois, a Canadian wrestling promoter who was impressed by his talent and presence. Frank became Andrei's manager and helped guide his career. Andrei started gaining recognition in France and made his first television appearance, wrestling Lino Ventura. By 1968, Andrei's fame was rising rapidly. He won the FFCP World Heavyweight Championship by defeating Frans van Buiten, cementing his status as a champion. Soon, he was wrestling in countries beyond France, such as Germany, Australia, and even Africa. In 1970, Andrei embarked on his first wrestling tour in Japan. There, he was given the nickname Monster Roussimoff due to his massive stature. Teaming up with Michael Nader, he won the IWA World Tag Team Championship. During his time in Japan, doctors informed Andrei that he had a condition called acromegaly, which explained his extraordinary growth. By 1971, Andrei had moved to Montreal, Canada, where he quickly became a star attraction. Fans flocked to the Montreal Forum to see him in action. However, over time, the novelty of his size began to wear off, and the crowds became smaller. Despite this, Andrei continued his wrestling journey. He even traveled to Iraq for matches before moving to the United States to wrestle with the American Wrestling Association. Andrei's WWF journey. In 1973, Andrei's life took a major turn when he met Vince McMahon Sr., the head of the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, WWWF. Vince saw potential in Andrei and became his agent, coming up with a strategy to make him stand out. He advised Andrei to emphasize his immense size and strength in the ring. While Andrei was capable of agile moves like drop kicks, Vince told him to avoid using them. He wanted Andrei to be seen as an unstoppable force. It was Vince who came up with the iconic name Andre the Giant, which would make him famous worldwide. Vince also ensured Andre toured globally so he wouldn't be tied to just one region. Andre's first match in the WWF took place on March 24, 1973, where he took on two opponents, Frank Valois and Bull Pometti, at once and won. Just days later, he debuted at the legendary Madison Square Garden in New York City, defeating Buddy Wolf. During the 1970s and early 1980s, Andre became one of the most loved figures in wrestling. He was known as a babyface, the term for a hero in wrestling. He was seen as nearly unbeatable, and many fans believed that he had never lost by being pinned or forced to submit for 15 years, leading up to the iconic WrestleMania 3. However, Andre did have a few rare losses. He was defeated by Adnan Al-Kaisier in Iraq, pinned by Don Leo Jonathan in Montreal, and lost to Killer Kowalski in Quebec City. He also had tough matches with wrestlers like Jerry Lawler and Kamala. Yet, through it all, Andre remained a fan favorite and a legend in the sport. Memorable matches and rivalries. In 1976, Andre stepped into the ring with professional boxer Chuck Wepner in an unscripted showdown. The match turned chaotic, ending when Andre lifted Wepner and tossed him out of the ring. That year also marked the beginning of Andre's rivalry with Hulk Hogan. At that time, Hogan was the villain, while Andre played the hero. Their epic matches became famous and were featured in major events, including those in Japan. Another notable feud came in 1981 when Andre faced off against Killer Khan. During a match, Khan appeared to break Andre's ankle by leaping onto it. In truth, Andre had injured his ankle getting out of bed, but the real injury was woven into the storyline. After recovering, Andre was determined to take revenge on Khan. Their clashes drew huge crowds, and in one fierce match in Philadelphia, Andre won a Mongolian stretcher match, where the loser had to be carried out on a stretcher. Andre's legacy grew as he took on challengers around the world. He battled Hulk Hogan, competed in Japan, and faced fierce opponents like Killer Khan. Andre the Giant became more than a wrestling star. He became a legend. His influence still resonates with fans, reminding them of an era when larger-than-life figures ruled the ring. The legendary Showdown. In 1982, Vincent McMahon sold the Worldwide Wrestling Federation to his son, Vince McMahon. Vince had big plans and wanted to grow the business, which meant his wrestlers needed to work exclusively for him. In 1984, Vince made Andre the Giant sign an exclusive contract, though Andre was still permitted to wrestle in Japan. Andre's size made him a target for another large wrestler, Big John Studd, who wanted to prove he was the true giant. Their rivalry grew, with both determined to show who was strongest. Things escalated when Studd and his partner, Ken Patera, attacked Andre during a tag team match and cut his hair. This infuriated Andre, fueling his desire for payback. Their most famous battle took place on March 31, 1985, at the first-ever WrestleMania in New York City. Andre and Studd competed in a body slam challenge. The rules were simple. Whoever could lift and slam the other would win $15,000. Andre won by slamming Studd and claimed the prize money. In a show of celebration, he tossed some of the cash to the crowd, but Bobby the Brain Heenan, Studd's manager, quickly grabbed the bag away. Andre continued to show his dominance at WrestleMania 2 in 1986 by winning a 20-man battle royal. This match featured wrestlers and notable football players. Andre outlasted everyone, including Bret Hart, and was the last man standing. By 1986, Andre remained a force in wrestling, but his body struggled due to acromegaly, a condition that caused excessive bone growth. He needed time off to rest, and also landed a role in The Princess Bride. To explain his absence, the World Wrestling Federation created a storyline saying Andre was avoiding fights with Big John Studd and King Kong Bundy. Although untrue, it justified his break. When Andre returned, he wore a mask and adopted the name Giant Machine, joining a team called The Machines, who were portrayed as wrestlers from Japan. Fans recognized that Giant Machine was really Andre, but the storyline continued as Studd and Bundy tried unsuccessfully to prove it. By late 1986, Andre removed the mask and resumed wrestling as himself. The Heel Turn and WrestleMania 3. In 1987, Andre made a significant move by becoming a villain, or heel, and joining forces with Bobby Heenan. Heenan persuaded Andre to challenge Hulk Hogan, who was the top wrestler at the time. Andre and Hogan had once been friends, but now they stood as rivals. On the show Piper's Pit, Andre congratulated Hogan for holding the championship for 3 years, but the moment felt off. The following week, Andre was given a smaller trophy for staying undefeated. When Hogan tried to congratulate him, Andre looked displeased and left without a word. Soon, Heenan made it clear that Andre's friendship with Hogan was over. He accused Hogan of pretending to be Andre's friend to avoid defending his title against him. Andre then tore Hogan's shirt and ripped off his cross necklace, scratching his chest. This act made it clear that Andre was serious about taking Hogan's championship. The two were set for an epic showdown at WrestleMania 3. Before their main match, they clashed in a 20-man battle royal, where Andre showed his strength by tossing Hogan out of the ring. This fueled excitement for their upcoming face-off. At WrestleMania 3, Andre was announced at 520 pounds. He was battling health issues and wore a brace under his wrestling gear due to recent back surgery. Despite the pain, he faced Hogan in what would become a historic match. In an unforgettable moment, Hogan lifted Andre and slammed him to the mat. This feat became iconic and was dubbed the Body Slam heard around the world. Hogan then sealed his victory with his signature leg drop. There were rumors that no one knew if Andre would agree to lose until the last minute. However, Andre had already agreed to let Hogan win before the event. Although Hogan had body-slammed Andre in a previous match years before, this time it was different. WrestleMania's wide audience meant millions saw it for the first time, making it legendary. Rivalries and triumphs. By the time WrestleMania 3 came around, wrestling had become a nationwide sensation. One of the most anticipated matches was between Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. Their rivalry reached new heights in 1987 as Andre's health declined. That summer, they both led teams at Survivor Series, a major wrestling event. During the match, Hogan almost knocked Andre out of the ring, but Bundy and one-man gang intervened. Hogan was counted out, and Andre emerged victorious after pinning Bam Bam Bigelow. Not long after, Hogan faced Bundy on TV. After the match, Andre launched a surprise attack and choked Hogan until he nearly passed out. Even with other wrestlers trying to intervene, Andre wouldn't release his grip until Hacksaw Jim Duggan hit him with a piece of wood. This incident fueled excitement among fans, who eagerly awaited another showdown between Hogan and Andre. During this period, Andre traveled to Germany for another match, but lost by countout. Meanwhile, Ted DiBiase, known as the $1 Million Man, was eager to buy the championship from Hogan, but Hogan refused. DiBiase then turned to Andre for help. Having teamed up before, Andre now aligned himself with DiBiase. In February 1988, the long-awaited rematch between Andre and Hogan took place on TV. Andre won the championship with underhanded tactics. The referee, secretly replaced by his twin brother, made a wrong call that tricked Hogan. After winning, Andre handed the title to DiBiase. However, the World Wrestling Federation president rejected this transfer, leaving the championship vacant. At WrestleMania 4, Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan faced off once more. The match ended in a double disqualification, bringing their intense feud to a close. In July 1988, Hogan defeated Andre in a steel cage match, putting their rivalry to rest. Andre then turned his attention to Jake, the Snake Roberts. Roberts carried a snake named Damien, which terrified Andre. During one match, Roberts tossed Damien at Andre, causing him to act as if he were having a mild heart attack out of fear. This tactic became a recurring theme, with Roberts using Damien to rattle Andre. Their feud led to a major showdown at WrestleMania 5, where Roberts kept playing mind games with his snake to keep Andre on edge. In 1989, Andre crossed paths with Big John Studd once again. This time, Studd was the hero, and Andre played the villain. Their renewed rivalry began when Studd served as a special guest referee during one of Andre's matches. Around this time, Andre also faced off against the Ultimate Warrior, a rising star in wrestling. Andre called himself the Ultimate Giant and even wore face paint like the Warrior, but he often lost to the younger competitor in their encounters. Later that year, Andre joined forces with Haku to form the tag team, the Colossal Connection. They won the tag team championship by defeating Demolition. However, at WrestleMania 6 in 1990, Demolition reclaimed the titles after Andre and Haku made a costly mistake. After the loss, Andre was furious when his manager, Bobby Heenan, blamed him. Andre retaliated by slapping Heenan and sending him out of the ring. He also kicked Haku out, signaling the end of their partnership and Andre's return as a fan favorite. By then, Andre's health had deteriorated, limiting his time in the ring. His final wrestling appearance came in 1991 when he supported the Bushwhackers during their match against the Natural Disasters. Andre, who now used a crutch to walk, even hit the opponents with it to help his friends. He ended his wrestling career with matches in Japan and Mexico, where he teamed up with other popular wrestlers. His last match was in Japan in 1992. Though his time as a wrestler concluded, Andre the Giant remains a legend, remembered for his incredible strength and fearless spirit. Andre the Giant's Hollywood journey. Andre the Giant had a love for acting in addition to wrestling. In the 1970s and 1980s, he began appearing in various TV shows and movies. His first acting role was in a French boxing film in 1967. But his breakthrough in the U.S. came in 1976 when he played a Sasquatch, a towering, hairy creature, on The $6 Million Man. This role marked his first major acting job in America. Following that, he appeared in shows like The Greatest American Hero, BJ and the Bear, The Fall Guy, and Zorro. As Andre's wrestling career slowed down, he turned to acting more frequently. In 1984, he landed a small part in Conan the Destroyer, where he played a giant horned creature, though he wasn't credited by name. That same year, he appeared in Mickey and Maude under his real name, Andrei Roussimoff. Andre's most well-known role came in 1987, when he starred as Fezzik in The Princess Bride. This role was special to him and became his favorite. On set, Andre felt at ease, as for once, no one stared at him just because of his enormous size. This experience brought him genuine happiness. The movie was a hit and remains beloved today, with fans fondly remembering Andre's portrayal of the kind-hearted giant, Fezzik. Andre was so proud of his role that he often invited his wrestling friends over to watch the film. He would serve them dinner and drinks, eagerly asking, "Did you like my performance?" Sharing that moment with his friends brought him great joy. After The Princess Bride, Andre appeared in a few more films. His final acting role was in the comedy Trading Mom, where he played a giant in a circus. The movie was released in 1994, a year after Andre passed away. Though Andre is no longer with us, his acting legacy, especially his role as Fezzik, continues to be cherished by fans worldwide. The big star with a big heart. Andre the Giant once held a spot in the 1974 Guinness Book of World Records as the highest-paid wrestler, earning about $400,000 a year, which would be around $2.4 million today. He had one daughter named Robin, whose mother, Jeanne, met Andre through the wrestling world in the early 1970s. Though Robin only saw her father about 5 times, she spoke of him with warmth. After his passing, she dedicated herself to preserving his legacy. In 1989, Andre found himself in legal trouble after an incident where he attacked a TV cameraman while filming a match against the Ultimate Warrior. Although he wasn't convicted, he did have to pay a $100 fine and additional costs for camera repairs. Andre was known not just for his size, but for his kind and generous spirit. William Goldman, the writer of The Princess Bride, once called Andre one of the nicest people he ever met. Andre insisted on paying for meals, even when he was invited as a guest. During one dinner with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Wilt Chamberlain, Arnold tried to secretly pay for everyone, but Andre picked him up and placed him back in his car, making it clear he was covering the bill. When not traveling, Andre cherished his time on his North Carolina ranch, surrounded by his cows, dogs, and friends. While some items in his home were customized to accommodate his size, not everything was as people assumed. Shopping was a challenge due to his fame and stature, so Andre preferred ordering items from the Quality Value Convenience shopping channel. Andre's reputation for drinking was legendary. He was known as the greatest drunk on earth. He once drank over 100 beers in a few hours, and even recounted on a TV show how he once passed out after 117 beers, unable to remember much. Stories from fellow wrestlers included tales of Andre downing 156 beers in one sitting and finishing 12 bottles of wine during a bus trip. In 1987, Andre underwent surgery, which presented challenges for the medical team due to his massive size. It's said that they had to consider his known tolerance for alcohol to determine the correct dosage of anesthesia. Andre's final days and legacy. Tragically, Andre the Giant passed away in his sleep on January 28, 1993, from heart failure. He was in Paris, having attended his father's funeral, and had stayed longer to celebrate his mother's birthday. Andre was only 46 years old at the time. Following his death, his body was cremated, and his ashes were spread on his beloved ranch in North Carolina. He left everything he owned to his only daughter, Robin. Robin Christensen-Roussimoff, born in 1979 in Paris, France, is Andre's only child. She spent her early years between France and the United States and now resides in Seattle, Washington. While she shares a resemblance with her legendary father, Robin chose not to pursue wrestling as a career. However, she maintains ties to the wrestling world, having appeared in a documentary titled Andre the Giant and collaborating with Titan Championship Wrestling. Robin benefits financially from World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE, for their use of Andre's name and legacy in various events. She also holds the rights to use Andre's name and image in merchandise, including video games and toys. Robin is known for keeping her personal life out of the public eye. Little information is available about her relationships or family. She maintains a private Instagram account with over 2,000 followers. In 1993, Andre was the very first inductee into the WWF Hall of Fame, a testament to his enormous impact on the sport. His larger-than-life persona also inspired the 1998 film My Giant, penned by his friend Billy Crystal, who had worked with Andre on The Princess Bride. Another wrestler, Paul White, better known as Big Show, has often been compared to Andre due to their similar appearance. Although he was once billed as Andre's son during his time in World Championship Wrestling, WCW, the two were not related. White underwent surgery in the 1990s to manage his own condition. Another giant in wrestling, Giant Gonzalez, faced similar health issues and passed away in 2010 due to complications from diabetes. In 1999, a documentary titled Andre the Giant, larger than life, explored Andre's journey from growing up in France to his time as a wrestling superstar and his health battles. It included interviews with people close to him, such as his brother Jacques Roussimoff, and featured well-known wrestling figures. Andre's influence even extended into pop culture, inspiring the Obey brand logo and the video game character Hugo from the Street Fighter series. Andre's story has been told through various media. A graphic novel called Andre the Giant, Life and Legend recounts his life through detailed interviews and thorough research. In 2017, a semi-fictional film called Waiting for Andre portrayed the friendship between Andre and playwright Samuel Beckett. This story was later adapted into a novel by Stephen Piper. WWE honors Andre's legacy with the annual Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. The winner receives a trophy shaped like Andre, celebrating his contributions to wrestling. At WrestleMania 30 in 2014, wrestler Cesaro won the match by performing a move reminiscent of one used by Hulk Hogan on Andre. This battle royal has become a yearly highlight at WrestleMania. In 1999, Biography released its documentary Andre the Giant, Larger Than Life. Then, in 2016, a film based on the graphic novel Andre the Giant, Closer to Heaven, was announced, with input from his daughter, Robin Christensen Roussimoff. HBO also released its own documentary about Andre on April 10, 2018, further cementing his enduring legacy.